Well, they're a very proud football team. And obviously I'm very familiar with EKU and EKU football. They've had only one non-winning season in almost 50 years, 40-something years, only one time they did not produce a winning season. So they're very proud. They expect to win. From a personnel standpoint, they're a talented football team. They have two All-American, preseason All-American tackles with Patrick Ford and Aaron Adams. They were both guys that myself and Sean Clark were involved in the recruiting process 5 years ago. They were really good players. They have an outstanding running back, an All-American running back, a guy that rushed for over 1,500 yards last season and didn't start, I believe, the first 5 games, and had a handful of games over 200 yards and in one of the top performers, at that level. A big wide receiver, a 6'5" wide receiver, last name of Gord. He's a very good player, so he's a guy that they can obviously, sell a play action, a fake, and send the ball up the field to a big 6'5" wide receiver. Great big tight end. It's a 6'7". It's a good blocker on the front side and also the back side of the plays, and a very experienced quarterback who I believe has 30-something starts and only 600 yards away from being the all-time career passer at Eastern Kentucky University. Special teams wise, they're wide open. They do an assortment of everything. They really test your ability to align and assign against the assortment of looks and chances that they take from a special team standpoint, and that's been great for our football team. It has resulted in some advanced training for just about everything we could possibly see throughout the course of the season. So really a blessing in disguise in the development of our special teams. Defensively, they have good size, better size than what you would imagine. They're bigger across the defensive front. They can bring some pressure. They like to bring pressure. They play a lot of 3 deep. They'll give you a little bit of room, but they make you earn it the hard way. You have to really execute to manufacture a drive. They have outstanding experience at linebacker. I believe all 3 of their linebackers have been all-conference performers the last couple of years. And again, good size, across the defensive front. And they also have an outstanding punter, a guy that is listed as a preseason All-American punter that can handle just about every type of kicks. The Australian punts, the sky kicks, has good hang time on his punts. He's an exceptional specialist. So they have a lot of good players, and obviously they'll be excited about coming into a big venue like Ross-Ade. When I was the head coach at Eastern Kentucky University, we played 1A teams every year, and some of them we didn't fare so well against. We had some rough sledding against the University of Kentucky one year when they had an outstanding football team, and some rough sledding one year against North Carolina State when they had an outstanding football team, but played very well against Vanderbilt and Central Michigan. And the last couple of years they have played very well and competed against the University of Louisville. They have also competed very well against Kansas State and some other 1A teams as well.
What does this do for a program like that to be able to get? I think it's $400,000. I think this year for them for this game.
Well, several years ago, the NCAA, passed a rule that would allow the FBS teams to schedule an FCS football team on an occasional basis, every other year basis, I believe is what it is, and count that game if you won towards bowl eligibility, and that was huge. Prior to that point in time, there really wasn't any reason to schedule an FCS football team because a win wouldn't count towards bowl eligibility, and in some ways it's looked upon as maybe downgrading your schedule some. Since they passed that rule, I think that was one of the best things that's ever happened to FCS football. Obviously, have played at that level and have coached at that level. I have a real passion for that level of football. From a revenue standpoint, it's a struggle at that level.